A free Dan Heng just got announced in the live stream along with the much anticipated new March by the name of Evernight. We got some juicy discussions to talk about today, and mainly, should you be pulling or skipping all of them? I don't know, man. With the new Siren being drip marketed among the horizons, it's gonna be a pretty tough decision. I'll go through all their kit, roles, and teams today. Hopefully it'll help you out in deciding as well. And hey, if you're looking to get these new characters and you're short on pulls, Loot Bar's got you covered. And here's a quick shout out. Now I know you're tired of ads as well, but I do think this could help you out a bunch, and I won't make it too long, just 30 seconds of your time. Loot Bar's simple. It provides cheaper prices for various top-ups, including unique ones like a Cerritos Guaranteed bundle right now, and they even have a version limited Oniric shard deal that usually costs $100, but it's just 80 now. If you're not one to drop big purchases, Loot Bar's got you covered with the Express Supply Pass for slightly cheaper too. I feel like a housewife sharing discount tips in Walmart. Best part being there's no longer required, just your UID and server. Complete the payment, and you see the resources you purchase in your account within 5 minutes. Plus, as you can tell by the reviews, they are quite positive. If there are any safety concerns, well, Loot Bar's also got great reviews even on Trustpilot. And well, I've had zero issues myself, so I find it more trustworthy than that. If you use my link in the description right now, you can even obtain a 10% discount coupon as newcomers. It helped me out a bunch, and no pressure here, is totally up to you. I'd appreciate it though. Now then, back to the video. We'll start with the first pullable banner, which features Evernight. She's a 5-star Ice Remembrance Path character. To start with the conclusion, she's a Memo Sprite buffer with solid damage and HP change mechanic too. Let's take a look at her kit now. First of all, Evernight's skill can summon her Memo Sprite Eevee in exchange for some of her HP. Once you do it, it will increase the crit damage of all Memo Sprites in battle. The more Memo Sprites there are, the higher the damage increase as well. So just based on this alone, Evernight is easily going to be the best in a team with 4 Memo Sprite characters, especially for someone like Castrus, because Evernight has HP change and Memo Sprite damage buffs to her name. Not only that, when Evernight uses her skill to summon Eevee, Evernight gains Memoria. The more Memoria stacks you obtain, the higher Eevee's damage output. You can gain more Memoria stacks by attacking, being attacked, or simply with the help of your allies. Evernight and Eevee will both obtain more buffs the more Memoria stacks you gain, so do expect her to dish out very good damage even as a supportive character. Once you obtain 16 Memoria, Eevee will immediately take action and damage all enemies while depleting its own HP. Again, perfect HP change mechanic for Castrus. Evernight's ult attacks all enemies and allows her to enter the Darkest Realm state, which simply makes her and her Memo Sprite do even more damage. More importantly, you'll also be able to use an enhanced skill, which provides you with a huge amount of Memoria stacks, helping you gain stacks quick for Eevee to deal damage even quicker. With all that said, it's easy to see that Evernight is designed to be a strong Memo Sprite support, especially for a Castrus team with 4 Memo Sprite characters. She's also exceedingly strong in skill point generation, given her skill cost her HP instead of skill points. Plus, she provides significant damage output even on her own, making her a full package. To talk about her role though, Evernight seems to be a supportive character for Memo Sprite teams that can also deal damage on her own. The best team on paper will obviously be Castrus, Hyacinth, RMC, and Evernight, which is exactly what's shown in the live stream. Evernight and Eevee both provide great buffs for all Memo Sprites on the field, which pretty much all of them do observable damage, even for like a healer in Hyacinth. Like Lil Ika can actually dish out great damage too. Reaching 16 Memoria allows Eevee to deplete its HP, which gains Castrus her ult charge even faster. And as you already know, gaining Castrus's ult charge faster is usually the main decider on how fast you can clear stages with Castrus. Aside of just spamming Memo Sprite characters on this team, there are most certainly alternatives to think about as well. Like instead of RMC being in this team, you can most certainly use Tribi for the AoE damage boost and the Dance action advance potential, which may just be as worth it, if not more, than using RMC, given the AoE damage boost will also apply to everyone, including their Memo Sprite. And all of them actually have very good damage output anyway, so plus a potential dance action advance, you might actually prefer Tribi in this team. In any case, if you're looking outside of Castrus, Evernight can still be strong for any Remembrance Path DPS, like Aglaia. Though it is not as perfect since Aglaia does not benefit off of the HP change on Evernight like Castrus would. Another potential idea would be using Evernight as a main damage dealer, considering the abundance of damage buffs she gets for herself, but it's likely to only be reliable with with some help from her Eidolons though. Otherwise, she seems to mainly be a top tier support for Memo Sprite based teams that comes with a tinge of damage herself to boot. But hey, you never know because things could change in the future with a potential Siren of the Remembrance Path making things different for how Evernight works in Honkai Star Rail. Who knows, maybe both of them would work perfect with each other. To conclude though, if you want to juice up your cast list even further and potentially prepare for the newly drip marketed Siren or any future Memo Sprite characters, Evernight is a valuable pull. However, obviously we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We're not even exactly sure if Siren's going to be good with Evernight, so let's just talk about the current moment at least. It's actually much more insightful to consider the new endgame mode, which is mentioned to be very difficult in the livestream, and it takes 3 teams. Getting yourself Evernight can free up your Tribute or RMC in your Castrus team so you can use them in another team. Immediate impact for your account. But well, to be very frank though, not obtaining Evernight here does not necessarily mean your account is doomed by any means. Given she's more of a specialist in Memo Sprite teams and you may not even have one, I still do recommend picking her up in this version if you could, given her supportive role, and we all know how the supports is what truly makes a team shine. I also say this considering you can save through the second phase with Dan Heng being free. You should hopefully have enough pulls to snag her up, but well, even if you don't, I'm sure your Castrus team's already like wrecking shop that you don't even need Evernight necessarily, but who knows what's gonna happen in the future, right? However, what needs to be said is still, pull for who you love, the game's not that serious. With that done, let's take a look at the next banner. We got Heng Permansor Terrae. If you know me and Dan Heng go way back, and I'm happy to see he gets another form here. He's a 5-star physical preservation character, and most importantly, he is free to obtain just by playing the story. W Hoyoverse for that because I really needed a breather from pulling that. But that also means it's really not about if you should pull for him, though you might want to consider his light code or perhaps his Eidolons. To start with a conclusion though, he's a shield based sustain with a summon mechanic. This means he has unique synergy with someone like Sunday. Let's just understand him better first. His skill boasts the whole team with a stackable shield, but it also provides the bond mate effect on the main target. The bond mate effect means Dan Heng will summon a soul dragon for them. That is word for word based on the live stream. They said that he summons a soul dragon for them, which should mean the soul dragon is now treated as a summonable for the ally that Dan Heng targeted. This is huge because that means you can now fully use Sunday's massive 80% damage boost when his target has a summon. And since the bond mate effect provides a summon for a target ally, this should mean Sunday can provide that massive damage boost for anyone in the game as long as they have the bond mate effect by Dan Heng. Sadly though, they did not show Sunday pushing both the summon and the DPS at the same time in the stream, but we are shown how Finance still has the soul dragon as his own summon even during Finance's own ultimate. This should mean the dragon is currently treated as Finance's own summon entity, so you should be to use Sunday's damage boost to its maximum effect even on Finance that don't usually come with a summon. This is insane value for any Sunday teams, and gosh dang, I cannot believe they're giving all of that away for free. Coming back to the kit though, when the soul dragon takes action, it dispels 1 debuff off of all allies and grants a shield for all allies too. His ultimate is an AoE attack and it grants a shield to all allies yet again. Not only that though, the soul dragon will also now be enhanced. Once the enhanced soul dragon takes action, it will launch a follow-up attack on all enemies while providing you with the AoE shield too. An important note mentioned in the stream is that soul dragon can provide shields when you perform follow-up attacks with the team as well, making characters like Fei Xiao quite ideal when paired with him for the abundance of follow-up attack. Even better, Dan Heng's technique allows him to use his skill once right at the start of the battle for free on the battle initiator. It's similar to how Ceredra's technique works, and it's a good way to save skill points at the start. With that said, this new Dan Heng seems to be quite a generally useful shield sustain at the very least, and one of the strongest enablers for Sunday teams at the best. Sunday teams with characters like Finite and Anaxa will gain even better benefits with the new Dan Heng, providing these DPS with a summonable entity in order to maximize Sunday's damage boost with his skill. It's like a huge extra 50% damage increase, like that is very big value. As if Finite and Anaxa needed even more help, not gonna lie, this seems pretty overkill. Outside of that, follow-up attack teams like Fei Xiao may see use for Dan Heng, and straight up using a Sunday in that team may be worth trying out. Though it's not certain that you can outperform the good old Robin Aventuring combo though, but we'll have to test and see. Outside of all of that, I'm sure Dan Heng can still just be used as a third sustain for any teams in the new endgame mode if you're missing one. And since Dan Heng is free, you know what? I'll be counting my blessings and be happy about that. It's just good value for any account, no way to complain about it. The discussion on whether or not you should pull Dan Heng though will honestly more be for is light cone and nylons, which we don't have much information on, but I will say depending on what type of stats he scales off of, you might want to at least get one of his light cone. Now I will say if he scales off defense, there are tons of alternatives that you can just skip everything entirely, and that's gonna help out a lot because I'm sure all of us are really dried out with the collab and every big unit's coming out recently. But we'll have to see once more information is revealed, which I'll be posting all the showcases from the beta server soon on the channel, so yeah, drop me a follow if you're interested. And with the new characters finally out the way, let's take a look at the reruns. We see for like what, the third time now, we got the Herta in phase 1, and for phase 2 though, it's Anaxa, which recently got genuinely busted with Ceridra in the fray. To start with the Herta though, she's no longer the dominating beast at tier 0 in every mode, but she's still very strong across all modes. And nothing much really to say about her. The best team of the Herta, Anaxa, Tribute, and a Sustain will clear everything you need relatively quickly, ignoring any element weakness since Anaxa gives you every weakness there is. Her best use case currently is in Pure Fiction, where she's still performing at the level of even Castris. That is thanks to her constant AoE damage that one-shots every mob in sight. I do recommend going for her if you're interested in a generally strong DPS across all modes, or if you're planning on a solid third team for the new endgame mode. But this is only if you have at least one of two of her best erudition ally, being either Jade or Anaxa, which is really what maximizes her potential. Thankfully, you can get at least Anaxa on phase 2 of the rerun, so yeah, that'd be awesome if you're trying to get the herd already. Speaking of Anaxa, this guy is actually the most underrated character at the start ever, and now he's performing shockingly better than anyone else gave him credit for. Funnily enough though, he's the strongest right now as a main DPS rather than a sub DPS, which was what everyone thought he was best for at the start. With his current best team of Ceridra and Sunday, plus the coming free Dan Heng that suits him perfectly in this team, expect Anaxa to be actually one of the strongest damage dealers in the game period currently. While he doesn't deal the highest damage per screenshot, his consistent damage output while planning all weaknesses are what makes him premier. I actually do recommend grabbing Anaxa as a main DPS and building his team if you like a near foolproof character, since no matter what boss you're fighting, having every weakness available means you'll have means to beat anything with good clear time. If you still feel like it, you can use him with the Herta as her best ally too. That works fine as well. Quite a valuable option to not only increase your team building options, but generally it provides you with versatility as well. But do remember, saving is definitely on the table, and the best option is actually to wait for more info on the coming new characters like Cyrene in the next version before pulling for any of the phase 2 banners. You can most certainly decide once the next livestream happens. And that will be all for my coverage of all the new banners and new characters. Hopefully it helped you understand them better. And yet, for a quick final verdict, in my personal opinion, I think Evernight has the highest potential pull priority here, but the main hope is that she may be good with future characters. Do remember that supportive characters in the game is usually what makes the team really strong, and Evernight suits more of a support than a main DPS for sure. That means if any Memo Sprite characters get released in the future that really does good damage, Evernight will most certainly be a staple for that team. But all of that is based on future speculation. If we're just strictly talking about the current moment though, there's really no big need to get Evernight just to make your Castris even stronger than she already is, right? This is just strictly saying if you want to beat stuff. Castris already nukes everything if you just have a tribute for her, which most of you guys have. But if you are a meta chaser and you want your Castris to reach the highest ceiling possible, I do think Evernight is still better compared to someone like RMC in the same team. As for the reruns, I actually do think I will be saving it me personally, but that could be different for yourself. Do make note of what I mentioned in the video and make a decision for yourself, or just stick to the good old pull for whoever you like since the game is not that deep. And yeah, that will be my take. Do let me know about your take in the comment section down below. I'm keen to know who you'll be deciding on pulling for, and that will be all for today. Take care.